We knew that we were actually serving, and the pay was not much, like 1.1 million shillings. There was no money for cars. You were given a loan which you repaid through your salary, and there was what they call mileage allowance. So you fill the government form and you state how many kilometers you have to drive to your constituency. In my case, 337 was the kilometers to Gulu municipality which I was given, and then you get about 600,000 shillings as a mileage allowance. Because most of us were indebted, you could not even bank the Bank of Uganda check. You had to go and line up in the banking hall of Bank of Uganda and get cash to put your body and soul together. So the idealism that drove the 6th Parliament and the 7th Parliament faded eventually. I don't think the pressure of the constituency was any less, but was the right kind of pressure. Constituents always put pressure. The pressure that Andrew Mwenda is talking about today is the pressure for what you would call cash from the MP's pocket. So basically, they see you as a member of parliament, you are also an ATM. So when people are sending death announcements about somebody totally unknown to the member of parliament, he is also mentioned as somebody who should be informed. So automatically a member of parliament is informed of every death. So many members of parliament now have assistants who go to every funeral, and on that account they get re-elected, and because the people say he always buries. So one of the requirements to be a successful member of parliament now is to have a water bowser, so that you can take water wherever there is a burial where there is probably no borehole, and so you should have a truck which can carry mourners, or carry a coffin, or carry other people. You should buy an ambulance. The Minister of Health recently said what the MPs call ambulances are actually not ambulances. They just get any kind of vehicle and write on it ambulance. I won't be surprised if tomorrow my great-grandfather Andrew Mwenda does not write Rolls-Royce on his car. It will not make it a Rolls-Royce. So writing ambulance on any car does not make it an ambulance. But more importantly, we also struggle to tame individuals who we thought were using their offices for financial gain. Andrew Mwenda and I have a story that I don't know who is going to die first, but we should agree to write it, and the one who remains should have the duty of publishing it.
No, we can say it should be published posthumously when both of us are dead.
Yes.
We can leave it in our joint will.
Yes, because it was a very interesting collaboration. And this is the kind of collaboration which makes you feel good to fight for the public. So as you assess parliament, as you talk about the bills you have passed and so on, which wars have you won on behalf of the public? which real what real wars have you won? So that is the question that parliamentarians should be asking themselves. During censure motions, we had these back and forth movements, and it was not easy. We had to become investigative journalists, to take evidence to the floor of the House. And while investigating the war in the north, we traveled up to London. We had to hunt down people like Peter Otai. It was actually Masanga who helped us. He was driving us around in an old battered car. But first we had to convince him that we were authentic and we were not hired killers. We listened to a lot of evidence from Ugandans in exile, and when we came back, we disagreed in the committee, and Honorable Mara Tubo and I had to sit in his chambers and we drafted a minority report. I think I should publish that minority report. The tone of minority reports these days is not to persuade anybody. It is just to grandstand and basically show defiance. We presented a very reasonable minority report, and I can tell you, Timothy, as I talk now, all the ideas which the parliament rejected at that time were eventually embraced. There's nothing better than to be alive when things you said should be done were not done on account that they were unreasonable and unacceptable, and eventually they get done. We said close the IDP camps, they were closed. We said enact an amnesty law, it was enacted to encourage people who had been abducted and forced to join the LRA to leave. We said talk to the LRA. Eventually peace talks started in Juba. We said open diplomatic relations with Khartoum so that you speak directly government to government instead of accusing each other of fighting a proxy war through rebels in each other's territory. Of course, the controversial one which made many people to refuse to sign our minority report was we need a return to multi-party democracy. Most people say don't mix up these issues. If we had left that one out, I think the majority of members of parliament would have agreed with the minority. So our demand that we should return to multi-party democracy immediately sort of poisoned our minority report. So we have a lot to teach the 12th parliament.
Okay.
And I am not of the school of thought that we should teach them how to steal money so that they can be successful. I think we should give them the skills, and I agree fully that at that time also the people were not thinking so much about constituencies, and we were modest. Most of us left our cars in the constituency, so you take a bus and then you go to the constituency.